Hi, in this video we're going to start looking at the Chapter 5 tutorials. First one is using a loop to calculate an account balance. So what we're going to do is open up the ending balance project and modify it. So when you complete the application, it will allow the user to enter an account's starting balance into the starting balance text box control and the number of months that the account will be left to earn interest into the months text box. When the user clicks the Calculate button to control, the application calculates the account's balance at the end of the time period. The account's monthly interest rate is 0.005 and the interest is compounded monthly. So we're going to get started here by opening up the project. If you haven't copied over the Chapter 5 files or the course, you need to get that taken care of so that you can open these up. So we'll go ahead and get Visual Studio 2022 started. And then I'm going to do a File, New Project. Scroll down, find the right one here, Windows Forms app, .NET Framework. This is, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this because we're opening, not doing a new. So File, Open, Project. Pay attention to what I'm doing here. And go to Chapter 5 on this, and then the ending balance is the one that we're running here. Wait for it to get loaded here, and then we'll get the two errors probably that come up. And usually when I do this the first time, it takes a while. There's the first one about the being 125%, and then the second one about the .NET 6.0 that's not compatible with, so get rid of those. I'm going to open this up just a little bit here. I'm going to slide these over so they're not on top of the boxes there, because if I don't do this, then when we go to put the numbers in, it's hard to read them. Okay? I'm going to spread out these a little bit also. There we go. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get started with this on here. So we're going to just go ahead and enter the code for this. All the stuff's there. So we're going to do the Calculate button here, code for that. It'll be popped up there. There we go. This one has a constant in here again. Again, I'm going to put it above so it can be used in any method if we had something else in here that worked with this on here. So the constant is going to be a decimal. And we're going to call it interest rate. Interest underline rate. It's going to be equal to 0.005 M. Okay. So then in our program, run our event handler. We're going to have three variables. One of them is going to be a decimal, which is going to be our balance. And then the other two are going to be ints. We got month and count. And count is going to be equal to 1. So we're going to use our try parses on these. So if decimal dot try parse, then we're going to do starting balance text box dot text, and then our comma out balance. And then our next one is if int dot try parse months text box dot text out month. It should be out months. Now my notes has out months. This has month. So what I want to do then is go over and see what's going on over here, or look at the up here. Yeah, I have month. It should have been months. So see, that's what the underlines help with on this stuff here. So okay. So we got that. We need our curly brace. And then if both of those come out to be true, then we'll do a while loop in here. While count is less than or equal to months, balance is going to be equal to balance plus, and then parentheses, interest rate times balance. Okay. And then our count plus equals 1. So then after we get that done, then our ending balance, oh, sorry, back up here. Actually, it goes after the while loop, so after we get all this done, all this calculated out. And have balance equals balance plus. I left my plus sign out of there. There we go. So after the while loop then, ending balance label dot text is going to be equal to balance dot toString. We want to format this to currency. Okay, so that ends that if statement there. So we need an else on it. And this is going to be a message box dot show. And what we're going to put in here is invalid value for months. That ends the else on there. So we go to the next if statement here. And this is going to be an else on here. And this one's going to be another message box. Dot show invalid value for starting balance. Okay, so that ends our event handler for the calculate button. We need to do a clear button. So I'm going to go back over to the form and double click on the clear button here. And again, mainly what we're going to do is just set each of the different text boxes to quote, quote, and then set the focus. So starting balance text box dot text is going to be equal to quote, quote. Months text box dot text is going to be equal to quote, quote. And ending balance. Well, that should be ending balance label dot text is going to be equal to quote, quote. And evidently it doesn't like ending balance label there, so let me back that out and see what I did wrong on there. And that shouldn't be text, test. So let's do this one over here. Ending balance label dot text equals quote, quote. And then the last thing you want to do is starting balance text box dot Focus. Okay. So let's go and do the ending button, or the exit button. And this dot close. Okay, so what we want to do then is run this and then put in some values. And give me just a second here. Sometimes they give me the, this time they don't give me data to just put in there, so we'll just make up our stuff. So let's go ahead and run this. Let's see if I got any errors in here. If it's going to compile, looks like it's going to compile. Okay, so starting balance. Let's go ahead and put in, say, 500. Number of months, do 36. Calculate. Ending balance is $598.34. So with the interest rate that it's doing here, we in 3 years we earn $98.34. Clear everything, and let's say starting balance we put in R. For some reason, we're just and then 45, and we calculate, and we get the invalid value for starting value. Okay, so let's put in 1,000 and S5. Okay, calculate invalid value for months. So let's say with the 1,000. Whoops, click that off. With the 1,000, we put in 48 months for 4 years, and we get $1,270.49. So for 4 years with $1,000 with the interest rate that we have on this, we get $270.49. So I'll clear this off, and hopefully that all worked out for you on what we're doing with that. So we're going to go into tutorial 5.2, which works with the same file here, so we don't need to do anything or opening it up or anything. So in this one, we're going to enhance the project. So first, we're going to add a list box control to the application's form, and then we're going to modify the calculate button, click event handler, so it displays each month's ending balance in the list box. And so these are in the book, and the figures that are there if you want to see what those look like. So I'm going to go back over to our form, and I'm going to expand this down and over a little bit, kind of like that. It'll come down a little bit more. And I'm going to take the ending balance and its label, calculate, clear, and exit buttons, and I'm going to move all those down. Okay. Click off, and then I'm going to go to the toolbox and get a list box. Place that down in here, and then expand it out size-wise like that. And then I'll go ahead and resize this a little bit. Okay, so that's all we needed to do on that. So the list box that clicked on is going to be called detail list box. So that's going to be the name for it. Detail list box. We're not going to have anything inside of it, so we don't need to worry about that. That's going to be done through the code. Okay, so let me get down here where the code is, and we'll get going on this. And switch over to our code over here. So again, we're going to have our constant, and we're going to leave it where I've got it up here with the interest rate at 0.005 M. We're going to have decimal as a decimal balance. We're going to have integers for month and count. If decimal, try parse starting balance text box.text out, that stays the same. The next one stays the same for the months, while count is less than or equal to months. You have balance equals balance plus interest rate times balance. And we have our count plus equals 1. Oh, just a second here. I'm not seeing where they put the use the list box in here. Missing something. Oh, there I got it. Found it. So what we're going to do is right in here, after we calculate out the balance here, is we're going to put in here detail list box dot add. Okay, so why is it saying? Oh, okay, that's list box dot items dot add, and what we're going to add to it is the ending balance with a space, quote, plus. Oh, I'm sorry. They're splitting it up on lines, and I'm not doing that. The ending balance for month, space, quote, plus count, plus, and then I'm going to split it at that point and come down here and put in here balance dot toString, formatting it for currency, and that's got the whole thing in there. Okay, so that's the only change to this, actually. Double check and make sure that I got everything in here that we're supposed to. Then, yeah, so then we print out the ending balance into the text box, and then we have our two else's on there, and then the clear buttons, and we need to add to the clear button event handler and I'm going to put it right in here, detail list box dot items dot clear. Okay, so that'll clear out the list box for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this one. Okay, starting balance, we're going to do 10,000. Number of months, we'll do 24. Then we'll calculate. And there's it is for every month in there, starting with month 1. You can see how much is added each time. And so when we get up to month 24, we have $11,271.60. Okay? So we can clear. That should clear everything off of there. And then we can exit out. So we're going to do one more of these. It's going to make this video a little bit long, but there's 8 of these, and I want to try to get them in so there's not too many videos on this. So the next one we're going to do is using the for loop. And so the scenario for this is that your friend Amanda just inherited a European sports car from her uncle. Amanda lives in the United States, and she is afraid she will get a speeding ticket because the car speedometer works in kilometers per hour. She has asked you to write a program that displays a table of speeds in kilometers per hour with their values converted to miles per hour. So the formula is miles per hour equals kilometers per hour times 0.6214. So we're going to do this from 60 kilometers per hour through 100 kilometers per hour, incrementing 10 at a time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to open a project named Speed Converter. So that should be in that same folder for chapter 5. So I'm going to do an open project, and this is a speed converter. And we'll get those errors again on here, which we can just cancel out, X out of them. There we go. So here's our list box. It's going to be our output, and we got display speeds and exit buttons. So let's go ahead and get ready to do the code for this. So this one's going to have 4 constants. I'm going to go ahead and just click on display speed. And again, I'm going to put those above the method. Same thing. I've always put these outside of everything because, like I said before, if you have multiple methods, event handlers or whatever, that's going to use these constants, it doesn't make sense putting them inside one. So why not get in the habit of doing this now? So we have constant int start speed, which is going to be equal to 60. Constant int end speed, and this puts in 60 automatically, but we want it at 130. Then we have constant, int interval, which is going to be equal to 10. And then we're going to have, do that again, constant double conversion factor, there we go, equals 0.6214. Okay, so that's all our constants in there. So down in our display button, we're going to have an int for the kph and a double for the mph. So kph is going to be equal to, whoops, wrong thing there. Let me back up here, sorry. Double kph start looking at the right lines, it'll help. Int kph and double mph. So we're going to do for kph equals start speed, semicolon, kph less than or equal to end speed, semicolon, kph plus equals interval. Sometimes the IntelliSense is great, and other times it messes things up on you, so you have to just be careful what you're doing on that. So then here we're going to do mph equals kph times our conversion factor. And then we're going to do our output. So output listbox dot items dot add. And so then here we're going to do kph dot toString. We're going to format this as an N1. I'm going to go to the next line here. So plus kph is the same as plus mph dot toString. Format this again as N1 plus, and then in quote mark space mph, end quote, and parentheses, semicolon. Okay, let's make sure there aren't any underlines. It doesn't look like it, so everything looks good on that. So I'm going to go ahead then and go back to the form and double click on exit and do this dot close. Okay, so let's see what happens when we run this. Display speeds, and there you go. So the box isn't quite big enough, so I'm going to exit out and go back over to my form. I'm going to expand this out and make this box, whoops, make this box bigger this way. I'm going to grab these two, move them down here, and then grab this and make it a lot bigger this way also. Okay, then we'll run this again. Click on display speeds, and those look a lot better now. So it gives her, will give Amanda an idea of how fast she's going. If it's saying 120 kph, she's going a little over 74 or almost 75 miles per hour. So, okay, the exit and everything worked great on that. So that's going to end this tutorial, this video, and we'll pick up with the next one in the next video. Bye.